So look, I don't think it's any secret that I'm not a fan of the Indiana Fever backroom staff. I'm not a fan of what they're trying to do to Caitlin Clark, and I fully believe they're trying to diminish. They're trying to dim the flame of Caitlin, and they're trying to make her fit in to what the WNBA used to be, rather than fit out and be her. I mean that. Like, that is my opinion, and there's no question about that. I think they're good defensive, but like this clip getting shown again, and it's just, in my opinion, is completely unacceptable. It is completely unacceptable. Like, if a coach did this to any other player in the league, they'd be fired. Or they'd at least be questioned for them being fired. So, if you guys agree with this, subscribe. We are almost at 53,500 subscribers. Lads, we hit 53,000 subscribers barely 2 days ago. We're nearly at 53,500. So, thank you guys so much for all the support on the channel recently. But we got to talk about this. So, this is from the from CDS Sports Podcast, Chicks Dig Scars. This is from their YouTube channel. I'm not sure if they made a YouTube video about this. I just saw it on Twitter and bookmarked it. I'm not sure, but if they haven't made a video on it, I just saw this in my bookmarks, and I want to give my opinion on it. So, if you guys don't remember, we've all said this. So Caitlin Clark has been knocked on her ass. She's been knocked on her ass. She's been cheap shotted. She's been poked in the eye. Everything. They have beat the Connecticut Sun. This is a month ago nearly. The Connecticut Sun beat the crap out of her. Absolutely beat the crap out of each other. But it's now where you've got Caitlin Clark then goes and hits a step back three on JC Sheldon. And she goes, the whole crowd's going nuts. And she comes, and she's getting subbed off, by the way, at this stage. She's getting subbed off for the game. She doesn't go back in the game at this stage. So it's not like it's a close game. They're up 20. She does not see the floor again. Caitlin Clark is there hyping up the crowd. She's there trying to hype up the crowd. Exactly what you want. Exactly what you want. You want to see this version of Caitlin. You want to see this player. And by the way, after this game, we talked about it, that she was emotionless. She was emotionless when they lost to Golden State. She has been emotionless in games. And that's what everyone said, where they were like, Caitlin, they were like, oh, Caitlin, people saying Caitlin's an angel. No one ever said Caitlin's an angel, but she became emotionless. And watch what happens here. So the coach just grabs her. Just grabs her out of nowhere. And I'm like, I don't think there's anything too malicious in that. I don't know if there's anything too malicious. We don't know what's said, but like, you can't just grab a player. Like, I'm sorry, you can't just, the player's walking back, you can't just grab a player. Like, and by the way, from this moment on, we hardly saw anything. From this moment on, the emotion was gone from Caitlin. Let's be real, that was right before the Valkyries game. The Valkyries game that realistically just kind of broke her. And like, I mean this when I say this, like, the referees are threatening a tech for hyping up the crowd. Go take your tech. This is sports. This is sports. You take a tech. I don't care. We treat this sport like it's men's sport. And I mean this. We talk about basketball like it's basketball. You don't have to like Caitlin Clark. You don't even have to like Caitlin Clark did this. But this is Caitlin Clark. This is Caitlin at her best when she is relentless. When she is relentless, when she's getting the crowd involved. And it's literally like Caitlin. She said it against like the Liberty. She said after the game, she's like, oh, I want to get the crowd involved. I want to do this, want to do that. Like, that's kind of what her goal is. She's like, that's when I'm at my best. And she keeps getting asked interview questions about it. It's like, oh, they're trying to get you to do this. They're trying to get you to do this. But at the end of the day, it is, Caitlin literally goes, well, it's like, well, they're trying to my team are trying to stop me from doing this, but that's when I'm at my best. She's essentially said her coach doesn't want her to play her game. And it's very clear that the Indiana Fever don't want Caitlin to be Caitlin. They want to see the perfect. And by the way, I don't know if this is just from the coaching staff. I think this might be from the front office. Maybe they want to keep this squeaky clean image of Caitlin Clark, not realizing that Caitlin Clark didn't have this squeaky clean image. Caitlin Clark, let's be real. There's a video of Caitlin Clark flopping. Caitlin Clark has shoved somebody over. Caitlin Clark is no Angel. And I don't mean that by no Angel Reese. I mean she's no actual Angel. She is feisty. There is a competitive streak that is Kobe-esque. But we didn't want on the court. Like realistically, off the court, Caitlin can have a squeaky clean image. But you want her to be feisty. You want her to have Kobe in her. You want her to have Jordan in her. And they're trying to take that away from her. They're trying to take away the greatest show in sports. And it's very clear. It is very clear that it is from the top down. And by the way, like you can maybe make the argument of, oh, if Caitlin becomes this efficient player and she doesn't let her emotions affect her, maybe she could become a better player. Dude, she plays 100% on emotion. She is a player who, for better or for worse, plays off emotion. You cannot try to turn a player who plays off emotion into a robot. It's not going to work. And that is essentially what the Indiana Fever are trying to do with Caitlin. You've seen every step of the way. Every step of the way, they have tried to turn Caitlin Clark into a robot, into their idea of what Caitlin Clark should be, or of who Caitlin Clark should be. And that's not Caitlin. That is not Caitlin Clark. And whether they like it or not, Caitlin Clark is Kobe. She is MJ in terms of her mentality. We hear from Lisa Bluter. Caitlin Clark can be an asshole. But you've heard it in a Kobe type way. You've heard it from Lisa Bluter. Lisa Bluter's whole thing was to channel the good parts of Caitlin Clark and to make sure that all the positives of Caitlin Clark came out on the floor. That she was able to be the driving force in her teammates. That all the good parts of Caitlin were what was shown. The good parts of Caitlin was what came out on the floor. Was that the team saw that she was able to use her positive qualities to drive a team rather than her negative qualities being a detriment to the team. All of that. And you got the Indiana Fever who are essentially putting her in a position that her negative qualities are being put to the forefront and her positive qualities and her ability to positively lead the team are being diminished. And that's from the top down. That is from the top down. That is not I don't know if it's a Caitlin issue. I don't know if it's from Herb Simon. I don't know if it's Kelly Krauskopf. I don't know if it's from Amber Cox. I don't know if it's from Stephanie White or the assistant coaches. But it is clear that they want Caitlin Clark to be this squeaky clean image. We want her only shooting long threes because we think that's the only thing that the crowd is there for. And thinks that Caitlin Clark, thinks that Caitlin's there just because she shoots long threes. I'm sorry, if it wasn't for what Caitlin Clark did, everything else away around that, if it wasn't for all the positives of Caitlin Clark, we'd just be fans of Maureen Johannes. If it wasn't for Caitlin's ability to be a focal point and be an engine, we'd just be all Maureen Johannes fans because Maureen Johannes shoots from deep. Anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys.